Welcome back, guys. This is the King of Weebs here, and this is why if Naruto wasn't in Isekai Part 4. Last time we left off with Naruto and the other three heroes, Ren, Itsuki, and Motoyasu, teaming up against the Pope. So, here the fight goes a bit different. Just once the barrier's back and Ren and Itsuki can't break it, Naruto's like, don't worry, I'll break it, and you guys have to do the finishing move. And they're like, wait, what? And since they don't know about Naruto's actual strength, so what happens first is that, first I'll say, I think it was Yumi and Jin. They slice the thing, and then Raftalia comes in, and then Philo actually kicks the barrier, and then Melty actually attacks the barrier with water, and then Naruto says Rasengan and breaks the barrier, and that's not it. The Pope actually was about to hit him with the replica of the four cardinal weapons, but then Naruto's like, no, you don't, and he protects himself with the shield and says maybe this wasn't a burden after all. And what he does is, by the way, it's not a replica of the four cardinal weapons. It's just the three: the bow, the sword, and the spear. So Naruto actually lets out a lot of his cursed flame, which actually pisses off the Pope, and the Pope actually hits Naruto's shield, and Naruto gets blown back and says, is that all you can do, Pope? And then he's like, if only I could use more of my chakra, I'd annihilate him right here. And then Motoyasu's like meteor sphere, and then Ren and Itsuki are like meteor arrow, and then meteor slash, you know, that thing. And the Pope was barely able to block that with his replica or weapon, and in the end them three get blown away, and Naruto realizes that the Pope is no joke. He can actually kill these three and his team, his party. So what happens is that Naruto doesn't have much chakra, but he can go into KCM, but he doesn't want to show it. So what he does is he first tries to think of a technique he can use with the shield, and then he finds the blood, and then what happens is that the hatred of the dragon was actually trying to take over Naruto, and Naruto's like, do you really think your hatred is anything? And that was Kurama, and then Kurama then shouts, my hatred is much more than yours, get overwhelmed. And the dragon actually gets so overwhelmed it actually disappears, and Kurama starts laughing and says, weak dragon. And Naruto's like, wow, you're ruthless. And then what happens is that Naruto actually uses blood sacrifice, but this time, yeah, he does lose a lot of blood, but he's able to survive since Kurama actually helped him out. Yeah, so you know, here it happens a bit earlier than the original, so the fight ends before the Pope can actually use his cathedral, you know, the cathedral used in the actual anime. So the Pope is killed, but Naruto is still out of commission, so he can't use his powers right now. And so Naruto is actually on the floor while his party actually comes up to him and says, hey Naruto, you're right. And then the three heroes are like, what just happened? What was that technique? And they look at Naruto, and then Naruto's like, surprised, didn't I? And he can still talk since Kurama's actually healing him. And then Naruto's like, thank you, Kurama. And then Kurama's like, you idiot, you should just use KCM out the chakra cloak, and annihilated him. And Naruto's like, you're right, but I guess I just didn't want to show them yet. And and then Naruto is actually faints afterwards, since Kurama couldn't actually stop the bleeding. He could only heal a bit of the wounds. if since the blood sacrifice didn't actually cut him, it was just blood coming out of him, or most of his blood coming out. So Chroma couldn't really regenerate blood right now. So especially because he is not able to use his all of his chakra on Naruto, so you can't heal him as usual. But then the queen arrives and of course tells everyone, tells her medics to do not let the shield hero die. And so here the story goes a bit similar, how Naruto wakes up with his whole party sing around him, and they finally woke up. Well, Jin is like, oh, took your damn time, and Naruto's like, what, I just lost so much blood. But you wouldn't even woke up. And Jin's like, hey, listen, I would have. And so just saying, they don't have class upgrades yet, even though they are all max leveled. Even Naruto's max leveled, and they need new class upgrades. And of course, the queen does tell him that he can have anything. And Naruto's like, I'll think about it. And she does still tell him about the execution, and Naruto actually doesn't know what to do. But on the day, the so on the once the day arrives, Naruto actually stops it before not right before, like like Naofumi did, but actually Naruto jumps in straight away and says, no, that's enough, let's just change the names, since death is too easy for them. He does still think of the same excuses, that why should we give them death instant relief instead of actually torturing them with different things. And he's like, how about we change their names into something disgraceful. So here I'll use the same names because I can't be asked thinking of different names. So no, actually, you know what, I'll say once, instead of Multi, her name will become Karen, Karen, you know what a Karen is. And the king's just gonna become Pig, Trash Pig. Yeah, and mine, her Karen's adventurer name, it's going to be called stupid. No, wait, actually, let me think of one. Whore. I'll just say whore, just like the original. So yeah, so that's the end of this arc. And I'll say that the next arc, before they leave, they do get all their class upgrades, and they go off to, and the queen's like, what do you want? And she's like, and Naruto's like, right now I don't know what I really want, so we're just going to go and help out different nations, since we heroes shouldn't just work for one. And the queen's like, alright, I'm fine with that. And Naruto's like, alright, I'll see you around. And the queen's like, and one day, the normal things happen. I'll say that they were just adventuring until one day they got a request to come back to Melromark, and they went back, and there was this little party, and they all got informed about the. So now for me and his team head to Calmira, where you can get double XP for the and it only happens once every decade. And now for me accepts to go since he does want. Naruto accepts to go since he wants to increase his level as fast as possible. And even though he's the shield hero, since he doesn't really fight as much as the other heroes, he is a bit underleveled. But in reality, the only reason he wants to increase his level is because every time he increases his level, his chakra increases, so he can use more and more chakra every time he increased his level. That's why he really wanted to do a class upgrade, so he can actually gain more chakra back, the normal things. So a few days pass, and I'll say that Naruto and his party do head to Calmira, and they do still meet Lark and the other girl, I forgot her name. And Naruto actually makes an acquaintance with him, and since he doesn't look like, even though he's younger than Naofumi, he is pretty tall and pretty strong, since Naofumi was just a normal 21-year-old that is still in uni, while Naruto is an actual ninja and he's pretty buff. Not he's more like lean than buff. So Locke could feel that Naruto didn't actually get once they bumped into each other. He's the one who had to step back, not Naruto, since Naruto was just in his spot, and Naruto apologizes for bumping into him, and he keeps going, and Locke says no problem, kiddo, and Naruto's like, I'm not kid, and Locke's like, oh, I'm sorry, I just give that nickname to people who are just me, and Naruto's like, alright. So he walks on, he keeps going, and yeah, just saying, in this wife, I don't, Naruto and Locke don't meet like, now for me met them in Raftalia's village. I'll say that Naruto left straight away since he said, we don't want to be late, and they actually left this time instead of actually staying back to just look at the town one last time. And Naruto already actually was thinking of buying the town for himself, but he wasn't sure yet. And so now they're in Calmira. I'm just saying, this is a shorter wife since this is the last part, and the Rising of the Shield Hero didn't have a lot, even though he had a lot of episodes. It's not like Naruto, where there is a shizer ton of episodes, 720 compared to 25, and like something like Dragon Ball, which has like nearly, I'll say like 600, around 600, yeah. How many does Dragon Ball have? I know like Dragon Ball Z has like 390 or 490. So Naruto's team arrives at Calmira, and here the leveling up is much easier, and yes, Naruto does still become friends with Locke, and Locke and him do compete a lot. Naruto didn't show him the Rasengan because he doesn't want to show them, and yeah, until one day they just took a break. They went to the beach, and Naruto took a dip, since he does love taking dips in the bath houses in the original in Naruto. So he really liked the water, even though it wasn't the best condition, like hot. It wasn't as hot as the bath as in the bath house, but it was good enough. So he goes down and he sees that there is a cave. So he goes with I think Philo and his party, and they do find out about a a dragon hourglass, and yes, here the dragon hourglass is still there, and it happens. The things happen the same until the actual wave hits. So once the wave hits, Naruto now has enough chakra to do 4 Rasen Shurikens at the same time, and if you can regenerate fast enough, you can keep spamming it. So Naruto's actually really overpowered right now. He's at a level where no one can really beat him now. So it might get a bit more boring than usual, but still, you know, the massive whale that they have to beat, yeah, that's beaten real fast by Naruto. Well, I'll say that Naruto didn't want to use it, so I'll say here the fight was a bit of the same until Locke, Glass, and the other girl actually teamed up. You know, like in the original, and Naruto's like, alright, you guys take on them too, while I take on Glass on my own. And then his party declines and says it's too dangerous. Even Melty says it's too dangerous. And Naruto's like, just trust me on this one. And plus, if one day I will have to leave and this party will have to scatter around the world and protect it themselves, since I do not plan on staying anymore, since I have things to do in my own world. And that doesn't really make Raftalia and Philo sad like usual, but remember, Naruto really has to go back. And also because this time Raftalia doesn't really have a crush, and Philo just likes her master, that's it, like, as a master. So yeah, the fight against Glass goes a lot different. Naruto doesn't really have to use the Soul Reaper shield. This time he just wants to use Taijutsu. He wants to see if his Taijutsu skills are still on point, since it's been like a few months, like 2 or 3 months, and he's fighting just with Taijutsu. He's getting stabbed, and he's like, oh god damn it, maybe I should use the shield. And once Glass uses her full season thing, Naruto really needs to protect himself. So he protects himself, and then he's like, you've pissed me off now. And Naruto Rasengan's her in the gut, and yeah, that was pretty much it. And then that's the end of the arc. That's the end of the series. Also, Naruto does ask the queen about to have Raftalia's village under his name, so Raftalia can go back, and he wants to establish a little the Shield Heroes headquarters there, and that's pretty much it. You know, the rest goes the same. How Raftalia thanks him, but she doesn't really hug him. She just bows down to him, and Naruto's like, there's no need to bow down. It's just a gift, because one day you guys have to take over this party. And then Raftalia's like, I don't really want you to leave, since she doesn't really love him like in Raftalia and Naofumi, but Naruto says, but you see, I have there are people who are waiting for me in my world, and I can't let them down. Also, because I need to protect my world from any danger. So you guys already know, right? And they understand, and they one day they know Naruto will have to go back. So, anyways, that's the end of the series. I know it was only like 15 minutes long, but I'll see if I can make another video on this. Well, actually, two videos. I would do it, but I really need to revise tomorrow. I keep prolonging my revision schedule, so I'm sorry if it's a bit shorter than usual, but I hope you still enjoyed. Please take care, stay safe. This was the King of Weebs here, and also before I leave, join my Discord server, subscribe to Retreat, Miniman123, link in the descriptions. Also, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and peace.